Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Global Impact virtual conference hosted by ISTE community leaders. This experience will showcase how remarkable educators worldwide are making a big impact in global education. My name is Kayla Holland, and I am part of the ISTE Community Leaders Global Impact team, joining you today from Charlotte, North Carolina in the United States. I am so excited to be your host for this session titled 5 Ways to Introduce Your Students to the Power of Artificial Intelligence. Our presenters for this session are coming to you all the way from Spain and are the eTwinz, Alberto and Mario Herraez, joining us from Spain. Alberto and Mario are known as the eTwinz and are twin brothers internationally recognized for their outstanding work in the field of education. The eTwinz have forged much of their career in the United States, where they lived for a decade and became global educational references. Currently, they shine as educational consultants through their firm, eTwinz Education, which carries out initiatives worldwide. And we are so excited to have them kicking off our first live session today. So, without further ado, let's get started. And I'll pass it over to the eTwinz.
Hi, thank you so much, Kayla. Thank you so much for the invitation as well. We are super happy to be here and to have the privilege of opening this amazing conference, because we know how much work goes into organizing something like this. So congratulations to all of you for this huge success that is going to be this conference. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we know we were talking just before jumping in here, right, Mario? How much work is this? So a big shout out to the whole team who made this conference possible. And the question, Mario, is why are we here? What are we going to talk about?
So we are here to talk about, as Kayla mentioned before, 5 ways to introduce AI into your classroom as a teacher. There's a lot of talking around AI and different aspects of AI, but we are here to talk about how to use that with your teachers. That 5 different activities or 5 strategies that you can use in your daily lessons with your students.
Something that we've seen lately is there is a lot of talk around artificial intelligence and the use of teachers, but not many people talk about AI literacy, which is how students can understand how AI works. We know, everyone knows that AI is here to stay, right, Mario? It's here forever, and this is the worst version of this technology that we are going to witness. So AI is going to be around our lives and the life of our students. So it is crucial that we as teachers, we identify this and prepare students, not just to use AI in the future, but also to understand what's behind that technology, what's behind that chatbot that is giving us some text or is giving us some video or pictures. So we truly think that it's so important for them to be prepared for the future, to understand how this technology works. This area of AI literacy that we need to start mentioning more in our daily life.
And it's we can give you hundreds of examples of why this is important. But here you can see a report that we use it quite a lot. We reference this report quite a lot. Is the Future of Jobs report for the World Economic Forum. It comes out every 2 years, and it mentions the trends of skills and competencies that our students will need in the future, and also talks about how the context of jobs are going to look like in 5-10 years. So as you can see here, the fastest growing jobs in the last 2 years have been related.
No surprise here.
Surprise with AI and machine learning specialists, which it's not the same, but they work very closely. So this is why it is important. If in 2023, 2024 already the fastest growing jobs are related to AI. Just imagine in 10, 15 years when your students will graduate if you are in elementary school, or in 5 years when your students will graduate if you are in junior high. So this is why it is so important for our students to not just play with it, not just use the tools of AI, use like the phone or use the computer, but also, as Alberto explained before, they need to know how it works, or like what's behind that tool that they are using.
And we always say that for us, AI is like internet. So internet before, like, I don't know, like 50, 80 years ago, was used just by a small number of engineers that were developing internet or using internet for whatever they wanted to do. And over time, that internet got to the point that everyone uses internet into their daily life. And this is what is happening with AI. 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, was used just by a small number of engineers, small number of people to accomplish some of the tasks they wanted to do. But now and in the future, it's going to be part of our daily life. Same trend that we saw with the internet, from a small group of people, just that niche of people, all the way to everyone. And with AI, it's going to happen the same. It's going to be part of our daily life. We're going to use it every single minute, every single hour.
Yeah, like Neil Postman says, one of our favorite authors about technology and technological changes. The big technological changes and trends are going to impact in the whole society. It's not going to be just like a part of the society or part of a job that disrupts, but it's going to be the whole society. Like everyone is going to use that.
And this takes us, Mario, to the basic, which is the prompts and the idea of prompt engineer. So what's a prompt engineer, Mario? Just in like 30 seconds, 1 minute, to those people that don't know about prompting, maybe, or don't know about prompts engineers.
Well, like at first, like what is a prompt, right? Because like for us, prompt, we're gonna talk about this a little bit. Is the most important part of AI. And what is a prompt? A prompt is for those language art teachers who are in the chat, are watching us and listening to us. Prompt is exactly what you are thinking, but in relation with to AI is the instructions, the indications that we give the AI to do something. For example, if I want to create a picture, I can say something like, create a picture of a dog in a park, whatever you want. So that is the instruction that we give the AI. The better the prompt is, the better product that AI will create. Okay, but it is got to a point where there's like a specific jobs created just to find out what's the best prompt. For us, it's very easy, right? Because like you can say, okay, create a dog, and it's gonna create a dog. But if we go to a technical level, like we need to be super specific with the prompts to train all of that artificial intelligence. So like that's why prompting is super important, that there are specific jobs that they spend pretty much the whole day just trying to figure out what's the best instruction for that artificial intelligence, in this case generative AI, to create something.
And this take us, Mario, to the first activity we use with the students for them to start using prompts and for them to start learning about what's behind the bot that answers them or gives them different products. So we're going to start with this activity, and we're going to ask the chat, the people who is live with us here, to be part of this activity. So we are going to do it, all of us together. The activity is called the prompt we used. In this activity, we are going to ask the chat or our students to try to guess what's the prompt we used to come up with these two pictures that we have here. The same prompt is for both pictures. So now people in the chat, people who are live with us.
Before they do that, like the thought process or why we do this, because we want to do the same process that our students, they would do to come up with this activity, but reverse. Instead of just like giving a prompt and then getting the product, we're going to give them the product and they need to guess the prompt. Obviously, it's not going to be the same prompt that we are going to use, but we want them to think about this and then come up with a nice prompt and then trying to guess the picture. I don't know, Alberto, like there's noise. Can you hear it? Because I'm hearing some noise. I don't know.
From my mic.
Yeah, probably it is for your mic.
Let me turn that off and on again. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
thank you.
leave you by yourself.
All right. So yeah, so we're gonna do this with our chat with the people who are watching us right now, listening. Thank you. I see like Laura Smith, great critical thinking activity. Thank you so much. Please open your chat bot. That could be, I don't know, like a ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, whatever you have. I don't know, Mid Journey, DALI, whatever, and try to come up with a prompt to get this picture right here. And then please drop in the chat the same prompt that you used. It could be something like, okay, create a colorful wolf or fox. And I'm not going to give you any clues, create like
You already did.
yeah, colorful whatever, or like I don't know, like different things. See what you come up with. And this is very important because like what they say in the chat is a very good critical thinking activity, because they need to really think about the prompt, about like how specific they need to be about the structure of the prompt and all of that to be able
And
to
they
get.
need to look at the picture, analyze the picture, see what's in the picture, and then from that take it to the prompt. So this is a great activity that you can do. You coming up with those prompts and those pictures and sharing with the students, or even in groups. Each of the students, each of them come up with a different picture, and then the people in the group try to guess what's the prompt that student particularly used to come up with those pictures. So it's very important for everyone that to work on this. Can be individually, can be in groups. So there are many different ways to go to carry out this activity. So should we, Mario, just
Move
reveal
on if you
what's the
want.
prompt
Yep,
we use? Yeah.
go ahead.
So this is the prompt we used.
Yeah, it's a tricky activity, okay? Because there's no way you would have guessed this prompt. It's impossible, but that was the whole point. We just wanted you to try different prompts and to like try to get as specific as you can, because it was impossible for you to solve this.
that was the point, right? That this is a good learning experience for them to understand that they need to be very specific with the prompting as well. So this is one of the activities that you can do with your students starting on Monday, about prompting and understanding different ways of prompting.
Here,
So we have one, right, Mario?
Jessica, Jessica said a colorful wolf in profile with layered paper effect and a modern aesthetic. Like, thank you so much, Jessica. That could be a good one, a good prompt. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for participating. I'm sure like you got something very similar to that wolf or fox or whatever we had before. Now we're gonna do it like again, like two more activities, something very similar to what we just did. And we're gonna start with the first picture on the left. See what prompt we use to create that picture. Very important for this, like you need to take into account like not just what you see in the picture, but you need to take into account and think about the style of the picture, right? The how, like how was taken or with what was taken. Okay, it's not just like a what you see, which is important as well. Be very detailed about it, but also like a like a how was taken and with what instrument, like what style.
Yeah, and with this, it's very important to understand that we are taking our students from the what, which is here, what's in the picture, to the how was taken. So we are taking them through the different parts of the prompt they need to do when they talk to a generative AI bot in this case. So this is an activity that you can go deeper and deeper with them, taking them through the different steps with pictures or even with text that you create. So this is something you can do. Mario, I don't want to run out of time, so if you want to go ahead with these pictures.
Yep.
The pictures on the left, we use the eye lens photograph, which is
fish eye lens.
Yeah, the fish eye, which is the the fish eye lens, which is the key of this. Okay, the how was taken with a fish. We're missing an F here. Fish eye lens photograph in this case. When we take a look at the right picture, we have a Polaroid picture of a crocodile. It's not just a picture of a crocodile, a regular picture of a crocodile. We have the Polaroid picture style, which is the how. So with this kind of task, with this kind of exercise, what we do with them is that we focus on the how as well, the structure, and how we can get to these particular styles, which is also very beneficial for them to wrap their mind around the use of AI. Expert in the field, another activity we can do with our students with AI, Mario.
And then like the whole idea, can you come back a little, Alberto? Like the whole idea of this is that to interview or to talk to an expert in a certain field. Like I remember when I was in a classroom, like we used to Skype or we used to video call like different experts. I remember we did one with an astronaut, another one with like a biologist, and my students could ask them questions that maybe I didn't know the answer, or or we did some activities with them, like they showed us something in particular. So that was amazing. But now with the AI, generative AI, we have the opportunity of interview pretty much any expert in a field. Let's say that you want your students to interview marine biologists because you're studying the ocean. They can actually we're gonna show you how interview that person. Or like if you're studying the universe, the solar system, and you want them to interview like an astronaut that had gone to the moon. Of course it's not real, but it gets very close. So the prompt that we talked about prompts before could be something like, I am carrying out an activity with my students. For this activity, they need to interview an expert on the solar system and write down the answers. Could you be our expert? So another important thing, we're not gonna get very in detail about this, but when you talk about prompts and when you interact with generative AI, it's always great if you give them a personality or a role. You tell them how they need to act, who they are actually. We're not gonna get, right, Alberto, very in-depth in prompts because we could be here for hours if we want to talk about prompting. But this is the main idea.
So this is the pretty much the interview, the solar system. You can get to very specific questions and very technical questions, and ChatGPT, in this case, you can use Gemini, Copilot, any of those ones. We can ask questions, and ChatGPT, this chatbot, is going to get you a very specific question and very technical. Also, you can go even deeper. We have here an example of there are other tools that instead of getting the information back from a chat, you get the information back from an avatar, which is very good for this activity. So there are many tools that look like this one that you get the information back from an avatar, which is great for this activity. That avatar could be your expert in the field that get back to your students.
So, going back to the interaction that Alberto had, in the left side, you can see that Alberto asked why black holes are black and why they have a strong gravity, right? So it's a question that you would ask and expert in the field. And the answer of this chatbot, of this generative AI, it's an explanation of the chat. So the whole idea would be to take that all of those explanations and all of that identity that you gave the generative AI and took it to a different tool. In this case, we gave you an example, but there are many tools that can create videos or characters, for you with AI. So it's pretty much just get that text, put it in the app, and it will create a video of someone, answering those questions for you.
And this is even more complex, so that you can get to this level. So the next thing we can do, we can even interview people, very famous people.
This is a great idea, but
we don't know what kind of answers we are gonna get. But we need to give it a try. So this activity you can do with your students. So in this case, we decided to interview this famous guy that I'm sure everyone knows who he is. So this can be done by the whole class at the same time. You, the teacher, being the one who interact with this chatbot and giving the chatbot this identity, or each of the students can do a report of a famous person like this one after interviewing this person. So this can be a great activity. Each of the students choose one famous person and interview them using this kind of artificial intelligence, this generative AI bot that we have here. Again, any kind of chatbot, AI generative chatbot we can use, we get the kind of similar, always almost the same kind of answers back. So we can get people that is famous, but also we can get people that are not with us anymore. And this is one of my favorite interviews we've done, this activity. I don't know if you know Dorothy, or you have seen this picture, this movie. If you have not seen this picture, I want you to stop
This
right
movie.
now. This movie, sorry, I want you to stop right now, write that down, because that's gonna be your your homework for the weekend, because this movie is amazing, it's incredible, and we highly recommend it to everyone to
And
watch it.
then at the end of
So
the movie, no, I'm kidding. But like you really need to, you really need to watch it. It's a great movie, even like for you can recommend it to your students because they have like, great values, and it's very very. I really recommend it a lot. So in this movie, there's like a three hidden figures, like three main characters, and Dorothy. I don't know how to say her last name. I think it's Vagan, but I'm not sure. Like she's one of the main characters. Um, so like they are not with us anymore, so it would be kind of impossible to interview them, but thanks to AI you can kind of interview them. Of course it's not gonna be like a super like a specific answer, so it's not gonna be the same with the same person, like answer the questions, but it is very close, and it's a great activity that you can do with your students.
And
If you
as you can see, when I ask her or tell her, you have been an inspiration for thousands of women that wants to join careers in STEAM. What does this mean for you? And she takes the role of her and say, thank you for your kind words. So it's like a real interview that you can do, your students can do with this, with the person they choose. So this is something they can do, and we have seen this working very very well in different classes. We've done it ourselves.
I can see in
Then
the chat that they said I love this movie. It's unbelievable how they did all of it without much technology, right? Just like with paper and pencil. It's amazing. This our third use of AI is not very it's not based on how to use it with students. It's more like for productivity, like how can you be more productive. I don't know about you, but we love rubrics. Like if I could, I would pretty much grade everything with rubrics because we really love it. What's the problem? The time. Like all of you know how much time it takes to create a rubric that you want to use with your students. So in this case, we can use generative AI to help us with the rubrics, with the 4-point rubric in this case. And our prompt would be something like this: can you create a 4-point mastery rubric for these standards? Please make each point its own criteria.
so we can do that even not with the ST standards that we all know. So we can ask the generative AI, can you make a rubric from 1 point to 4 points for the following standards on a table? And we copy and pasted one of the ST standards that we have here, and immediately, like this chat gave us a 4-point standard about this to grade this standard. We can do the same with any of the standards that we have in our state, in our country. We just need to copy and paste it, and this generative AI will give us a full rubric to evaluate that standard that we want to work with our students.
I think Jessica is on our boat, with the rubrics. Very important when we talk about rubrics or whatever AI creates. please don't copy that and use it with your students. Like we always say that whatever product we get out of all of these apps or all of these platforms is just the starting point for you. Instead of starting in a blank page, like blank paper, you don't start from scratch. You start with this rubric that can help you out a lot, but it's not the final product. You need to take that and you need to change it and to modify it, to adapt that to your students' needs and to your teaching style as well. So just like take a look at it, modify it if you need to change whatever you think it needs to be changed, but don't use it like it is right now.
Yeah, we are not going to get to the point to ethics of AI, Mario, because we will need 2 or 3 hours. But it's very important not just to take what AI gives us as it is, but it's a good starting point for us, as Mario mentioned before. We can also, if we don't know what kind of standards we want to use, we can ask the AI about it. Like, hello, what's the science standards about ecosystems in 5th grade in Utah? So the AI is going to give us those standards.
You should know that, Albert. You should know that.
Yeah, I should know that. Yeah. And after that, we can ask the chatbot for us to give us a full rubric of those standards. So it can be a good starting point to ask about the standards if we don't know anything about it, and then to ask about this mastery 4-point mastery rubric for each of the standards as well. We're going to get to the next part, Mario. The next activity we can do with AI and our students with it is tutor your students.
And there are, there are many tools out there that can help you out, like tutoring your students. But the whole idea is that, okay, so with AI, there's gonna be a lot of like ethics questions that we can't answer at this moment, or like they are hard to answer. One of them is the digital gap, right? Like a digital gap is gonna increase, of course, when a new technology comes out, like that digital gap increases. What is the digital gap? It's the difference that the use of technology creates versus the not use. I didn't explain myself very well, but just imagine this: like a student in Utah, to give you the same example, is using AI daily. And a student in Spain, for example, like that's where we are right now, it's not using them because he doesn't have access to this technology. The opportunities that student in Utah is going to have because he or she has access to this new technology, in this case AI, are going to be way bigger than the opportunities that the student in Spain is going to have because he or she doesn't have access to technology. And that gap is going to keep increasing because this AI is going to get better and it's going to be more developed, in the next years. So we know that digital gap is going to get bigger, but we can use AI to close some gaps, in this case, to tutor students. And to give you another example, before, a lot of people used to, before, even now, people hire different tutors to help their kids or help their students with different subjects, or even with their essay to access university, or like if they're not good in math, they hire a tutor to help out with math or physics or whatever subject you decide. But what about those people who don't have the resources to hire those tutors, right? Like they don't have the same opportunities or the same access to knowledge or to develop their skills that the people who have the resources have, because they can hire the tutors. With AI, we can close those gaps, but now we can use AI to tutor our students. In that way, all of the students will be able to have access to someone or to a chatbot or to technology that can help them out, with the subject. We can talk about content or to develop a specific skills. So like a new technology like this has a lot of bad things, but also has like great things if we use it in a correct way, like kind of like to create tutors, for everyone or every student.
Here we have an example. There are many examples. We brought this one because we love it. It is called Canmigo, which is the chatbot powered by AI that Khan Academy uses to tutor students. It's a very good one, and we highly recommend it. If you have access to Khan Academy, to use it with your students that can tutor them without giving them the answer, which is the whole point. Also, if we have any other kind of chatbot that we use, generative artificial intelligence, can be Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, any kind of those. We can also interact with them, asking them to be our tutor without giving us the answer straight. So something like, can you be today my tutor? Can you be my tutor for today? I don't want you to give me the answer, just to help me go through the process. And with that, the chat is going to give you some steps you need to take to be able to accomplish or to be able to complete the task that you need to complete at the end. Other kind of tutors, we have Tutor AI, AI Tutor. So there are many like those around. So just go ahead and choose the one that you think is the best.
There is a good question in the chat, which I understand, but I don't understand at the same time. I mean, I understand that in an ideal world, everyone would have access to tutor, but we are not in an ideal world that everyone has resources for that. So I'm not saying that human tutors, for some people and machines for another people, but like it's better than nothing. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Like there are many students that can't have access to human tutors that AI can give them an opportunity to have something. I have not compared both systems because it's impossible that AI can substitute a teacher, because that's never going to happen, right? Like AI is not going to take our jobs, and our AI is not going to be the same that a person trying to teach something to a student. But for those who don't have the opportunity to have tutors, or for those who don't have opportunity to learn from a physical person for whatever reason, I'm not saying that AI is going to substitute that, but at least they have something that they didn't have before. So that's the point. Of course, it's not going to be the same. And I really think, and I wish that will never be the case.
I mean, but I think the point is, like, we all know that it's a systematic problem, but at this point we need to be realistic and understand that it's a problem that we cannot solve overnight. If we think this is a problem we can solve overnight, I think we're not being realistic out of this. And being realistic, this is something that it can help, and actually it is helping. There is data around all this that we are mentioning here today, that we welcome everyone that wants to check that data to go ahead and do it, because there are many researchers that talks about how AI tutors are helping people in need around the world. So of course, in the perfect world, we'll have a tutor for each of the students, but we don't live in a perfect world, and we don't have a solution to solve this systematic problem. So right now, the best we can do is use technology in a meaningful way to solve and empower students in the way that we can right now. I think if we keep thinking about the way that we wish things would be but are not right now, it would be impossible to help those students. Perfection is what's the say perfection is the enemy of good, or something like that. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but at least it's something that is helping students that don't have access to those tutors. Going back to the presentation, Mario.
Yeah, we are like a teach writing with AI. That's another problem that we've faced, and our schools have faced as well, is that how students can teach writing with AI, available for every student. Because at the beginning, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, teachers faced the problem of telling the students that they needed to write like a 5-paragraph on something, and then students went home and just use AI to create those essays. So how can we teach writing with AI, in a way that even our students use AI, it's not gonna be a problem. So we need to do it backwards a little bit, and we've seen that it really works. So we would tell our chat box or generative AI a prompt that is something like, I want you to generate a 5-paragraph essay for this prompt. Soccer will not ever become popular enough in the US. I mean, we come from Spain, so this is something that we see.
Yeah, it will generate an essay like this one, and what we need to do is ask our students to get the essay that the AI generated and just improve the essay with all the knowledge and the skills they developed in our classes. So pretty much is the backward systems, thinking that they may use this technology to create essays. We're going to do it first, and now is the time for them to get to this essay and improve that essay with their knowledge. It is something that also they might do in the future, in not even in our classes, but maybe in their jobs in the future. They will get content that was previously generated by AI, and they will need to improve that content for them to present it to their boss, or to present it whoever. So this can be a great solution to do it backwards and teach them that whatever the AI gives us is not the final product. It's also the initial phase of writing, or the initial phase, or something else. So we've seen this work very, very, very well. Also, analyze examples. This comes from Dr. Kaylin Tucker. We saw it on their social media, so you are welcome to follow her as well, to analyze writing examples that we give that were previously generated by AI. So this is a great example as well. Something that we can do, following the example we just showed, we can ask the AI to give 3 strong writing examples. Could you create 3 strong writing examples, 1 paragraph long, for them to analyze? So they can analyze those strong examples, seeing what's something that they may use in the future, or something that they may not use in the future, something that it is wrong and they need to fix as well. So this is something we can do. Following the examples of writing, we can ask also the AI something like, write a 5-paragraph essay about ancient Rome. My 6th grade students will need to analyze this text, so make some mistakes for them to find, not only grammar mistakes. So we are going kind of like farther. We're asking not for grammar mistakes. We are asking for other kind of mistakes, syntaxis mistakes, and all those things that they will need to fix, understand, analyze, critical thinking, problem solving skills, and then fix those skills. And we are going to close our presentation, Mario, that we got 2 more minutes, I think, or 5 more minutes, with the icebreakers that we like to do with our students. The first one is, this is me. And this is something that we can do from like lower grades, elementary schools, all the way to high schoolers even. Or even for your PD, if you are a coach or a presenter for your PD, this is a great way to introduce people or do this icebreaker that we like. So how do we do this, Mario?
And this is it's all the icebreakers are not related to any content. As you can see, it's more like a fun activity that you can start using with your students, for them to get familiar with AI, generative AI. And you you need to say, it's called "This is me" because they need to kind of to show who they are. And for that, they need to create a prompt that includes 4 different things. The first one is favorite food, favorite place, favorite sport, and how you look. So Alberto, in this case, wrote a prompt that says, it's a picture of 2 children, blonde with light brown hair and brown eyes, playing with soccer while eating chocolate. The background must be blue and white, with an image
of our favorite colors.
Yeah, blue and white, because they are our favorite colors. With of the Cathedral of Salamanca, Spain, in the background. So as you can see, we put some of our favorite things, favorite food would be chocolate. In this case, favorite place, which is Salamanca, is where we are from, our hometown. Favorite sport, soccer, and how we look. And it creates a picture that related to who you are.
Then artificial intelligence versus human. Who said it? This is a very fun one. I don't know if you have played this game before, but it is like you take a very famous person and you make a table like this, and one column is yes, he or she said it, no, he or she didn't say that, and then you play with your friends, and it's very fun to play. So something like this, you get like I don't know, 5, 6, 7 quotes from humans and from AI, and you play with your students, who said it, humans or AI. This is a good one that we like to use as well. In this case, this is the result of this game. And the last one, Mario, that we are gonna mention
is how does AI work? Like as we said before, it's important to teach them how AI works. And then there are many activities, many curriculums but they don't pay us to say this, okay? But the one that we like the most is the code.org curriculum. I really think that it's a great opportunity.
It is free, completely free. It is free
for everyone. So that's why we are sharing this. That if you want to do an activity, this is like one of the ones that we like the most. That is pretty much through a fun video game or like a fun activity. It explains to your students, as could be elementary school students or secondary students. It teaches them how AI works. Even teaches them through a fun video game of how to train an AI bot. So I think they are doing a great job, as I said before, and I think it's a great activity that you can use with your students for them to understand how it works and what's behind those chatbots.
And we are sharing this because it's a non-profit. They don't charge people for the curriculum, so that's why we are sharing this kind of content. So that's our recommendation, and that's it from us, right, Mario? We really hope that you got something out of this webinar today. I hope you got so many ideas to do with your students, to share with them or to initiate them in the power of AI and the use of AI.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. Incredible job. Thank you so much for you guys, just for this wonderful presentation. There's a lot going on in the chat. So I hope you're kind of, looking at that as well. If you have any questions specifically for the eTwinz, go ahead and put them in the chat now. I put in the chat, I love that you're suggesting we use AI in such a purposeful way. I think this is just my personal opinion. I think with any form of technology, it's like the big new shiny toy, and people really love to just jump right in with it without thinking about how do we use it with purpose and how does it really fill a gap. And I know that we should be cautious in moving forward with it. But AI, like you've shared, there's so many great ways that we can promote student critical thinking. And I'm thinking about like how it can be used for my students in the juvenile justice system. I think I've lived in Haiti previously, so students in developing countries who don't have access to, a lot of the educational landscape we have in developed countries. I think it could be really important for those students. So I want to make sure we're all remembering there's lots of different people and students around the world what it can be helpful for. But the prompts that you shared were great, and I love that you're reminding us to use it in a meaningful way.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's the key. Like when we always use technology and when we train teachers, we always ask them, how is this technology changing the way you teach, or can you do the same without this technology? If the answer is yes, you can do the same without this technology, don't use it. Like it's not meaningful.
That's right.
It's just a barrier.
What's the extra value that it's giving you? Like if it gives you no extra value,
that's
what you said, just because it's the new shiny thing, just don't use it. There are so many negative things that are probably happening in your class because you're using that technology, in the same way that you would do an activity without it. So, yep, I think it's very important what you said.
That's great. Well, thanks so much again to both of you for helping us kick off our presentation today. I'm going to kind of walk us through some final reminders here. So we'd love to know what you learned from this session. So go ahead, if you're watching us live or even the pre-recorded, scan the QR code on the screen. Or we're putting a link in the chat that you'll see in a second to access the digital template to share your takeaways from this session. You can share them online using our hashtags Global Impact and hashtag #ISTEGlobal. I really think this was a powerful conversation, and it's just so important to remember that we use any form of technology with purpose and with meaningful activities. As we wrap up this live session, there's a couple of ways you can continue collaborating with us as ISTE community leaders. One, if you haven't yet registered for ISTE Live, we encourage you to register today. Venture into the future of learning during 1,000+ sessions where you'll get practical, ready to implement strategies. So if you're going to ISTE Live, many of us on the ISTE Community Leaders Global team are. Be sure to check out our Global Collaboration Playground on Wednesday, June 26th. The eTwinz will also be presenting there. If you love their session, you can catch them again. Also, if you are wanting to connect with us virtually, be sure to check out Connect. It's a virtual space for us to meet, share, collaborate with like-minded educators. We have a global group on there. So if you'd like to register for a free account, again, some of these links are going to be placed in the chat. Finally, we have a featured educator initiative taking place. So if you follow ISTE community leaders on social media, you might have seen several of our incredible educators being featured in the last couple of months. We had an incredible educator from Kenya. We've had them from several different countries already. So if you know of someone that is just an incredible educator doing something around the world, please nominate them for this featured educator initiative. We select 2 educators per month to be featured on our social media pages just to highlight the incredible work that they're doing in the classroom. So nominate yourself or someone else that you know. We'd also like to shout out our recorded sessions. There are almost 50 individual pre-recorded sessions that you don't want to miss. You can locate those sessions by clicking the pre-recorded session button on our website page. Thanks again for joining this live session from our whole ISTE community leader team. And there's a whole background of people here. I'm gonna add quickly just so you can see Cami and John and Margaret. There's a whole team of people running this conference for you today. So thanks again for joining us for this live session. We hope to see you at our next live session happening in just 12 minutes with Ivo Hannon, and he's going to talk about his Design for SDGs Sustainability Week in the UK. So thanks for joining us. See you on the next one, everybody.